everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We are Similarly Opposites, a group of friends, a pair of friends that are very similar but also very different, and you find out and you kind of discover how similar we are and how different we are along this journey of the podcast. This is episode 11. Crazy. And it's our first episode out discussing a particular country or city that we've been in together. Before I forget, my name is Sakeenah.
Hi, I'm Reza-Astrid.
And we're just basically going to talk about travels, and we talk about what we've seen on the internet, and we just have a conversation, a lovely chat once a week. We invite you in. We enjoy your comments, so please do keep them coming down below, and subscribe if you haven't already to join us on this journey. So I haven't spoken to you. I feel like I haven't spoken to you. I definitely have. But how was your day? Yeah, you were just asking me about mine, but how was your day? How are you?
Today was just a day. Nothing major happened. Nothing. Yeah, it was just a day. I went to work. Yeah, I went to work, and then after work, my brother and I took Rufus to the dog park. That was really nice because the weather is really warm today. It was a little bit windy, but not too much, and it was just nice to walk in the dog park again. We're still trying to teach Rufus how to walk on a leash without pulling, and we're still trying to teach him how to come back when we call him after he's off the leash. So it takes a lot of effort actually in these walks, but it was really nice to spend time with my brother and with my dog. And then I came home and I was just about to make supper, or I was about to make something to eat, and I was like, oh, I've got the podcast. And then just before you got on the podcast, I was going to get up to make me some tea, and I was like, oh, I can't. Sakeenah's here.
I want to go and then come back.
It's all good. It's all good. What about you? How was your day?
You want to go make tea and come back?
No, I don't need it.
If anyone listening to the pod, grab a cup of tea. I'm always eating.
Always.
Because I come from work and I don't eat the whole day. Like, I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat at school. So I come home and just...
You eat during the podcast. I eat after the podcast. After the podcast, yeah. I need to eat something. I'm so hungry.
My thing is, I come home and as like the door opens, I'm like, I need to go to pee and I need to eat something. Like, that's two things that always happens. Because I don't eat for the whole day and it's like 3 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I should probably get something in my body because I'm starving. But today I had a coffee shake, which is most welcome. I had like 2 hours off. And then me and my student teacher, we went to like, how cute is this? Like, I'm sorry, if anyone says they don't have date ideas, like, just going to a garden center is definitely a date idea. So we went to Snails, and in the Snails is a cafe. And apparently they did like really good coffee shakes. And I was like to my student teacher, you off, I'm off. Let's go get a coffee. And then we went to like the Snails, had iced coffee, had all the lach, like so funny. It's the last week and we've like got really close. It's so strange. Like, because as a student teacher, like I was a student teacher like what, not even a year ago. And I was like not vibey with my mentor teachers. They were just kind of like advisors and like I asked them for advice. But this girl I went to school with, high school. So like we kind of have a background, we're like more familiar with each other because we kind of know each other. But also she's such a nice person. Like such a nice person. I felt that like if I ever get the chance to work with her in the future, I definitely would like jump at the opportunity. Because she's so organized, she's so nice, she's so like real. And she's not trying to be like too good. Like she'll be like, oops, I messed up. How can we fix this? And I'll be like, that's fine, don't worry about it. Like we'll fix it together. So yeah, we had like nice chat because she's leaving next week. And I didn't want her to just like leave, so I like bought the coffee, and I was like initiated kind of. It was like on a whim, but it was nice. So I really liked it. So yeah, that's why I always eat because I didn't get to eat in the day. So if it annoys you, I'll apologize. I try to not be a loud eater while I'm here, but I'll just like grab a snack intermittently throughout this. But speaking of like, I know we spoke about, I don't know if you found anything on the internet, but I'm just gonna like jump straight into like random travel questions. But speaking of food, what's your favorite foreign dish we've eaten in a different country or city?
Wow. Whenever I think of favorite foreign food in a different country, like just that sentence in general, the first country that pops in my head is Azerbaijan. Number one, the first place that pops in my head. I can't even really remember what I ate in any other country, but in Azerbaijan, like the visually, like if you had to tell me what was your favorite meal in Mozambique, I don't know. But if you ask me what's my favorite meal in Azerbaijan, so take a seat, let's have a chat. Azerbaijan had really, really, really good food. I really liked the braai meat that they had. We went to a restaurant, and the food that we had on the tours that we went on, so good. That chicken, that piece of meat, oh, and I love the soup, I love the sides, everything was just so good. And then also my favorite thing in the whole wide world is a shawarma, and I had so many in Azerbaijan. So that's, for me, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of my favorite meal. But I have to say, I still think about those snails in Paris. I didn't realize I would enjoy them as much as I did. And I know they sell snails in Spur, but I don't know, is it going to be the same? Because I want the same experience, I want the same taste in my mouth. But the snails in Paris, I always think about that frequently. Yeah, what about you? That's a good question.
Wow, I've never expected the snails. Because you guys are so apprehensive about eating the snails.
I know. I was like, no. And I was like, let's just try. You only live once. And then I was like, so good. So good.
Like, so on a different note, I'm going to answer your question now. But the thing is, like, why and who deemed some animals okay to eat and others to be like weirdly gross and disgusting? Mm-hmm. Like, why? It's like 4 animals that we only eat, and we're okay with that. But someone mentioned something else, and you're like weirded out by the fact that you eat that. It's the same thing. It's a life. Like, and if you you can't be against snails and be like, ooh, but that's an animal and it's like an insect, and then not be vegan. So that's a thought.
But I mean, I was never against eating snails. I just thought the idea of eating snails was strange.
No, eating a frog is so weird. Why?
Yeah, I don't really think like that. I'm just like, if it's there, I'll try it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. But I don't really think of like, snails. But then, speaking about animals that you should or should not eat, like horses and dogs seem to be the 2 top contenders for animals that you definitely should never eat.
Why not?
And that's the thing. Like, why? Like, it goes back to your question. Why those 2 animals specifically seen as like, no, we shouldn't eat? Obviously, because we probably have dogs and horses as pets. I don't necessarily have a snail as a pet.
No, it's because humans are selfish, and we have domesticated certain breeds, and a dog is literally a domesticated wolf because we need a companion, And like, that's so unfair. Like, also a weird fact, if you skin a cat and you skin a rabbit, they look exactly the same. So that's why if you like have rabbits at like a shop, they need to like sell the rabbit with their ears on it, so it's not a cat. Because they look the same.
Let's go back to the question I asked you, because I don't like where this conversation's going.
That's something to think about. It's always something to think about.
It is.
I've had so much. Okay, so I'm very basic and safe when it comes to food choices. Let me premise it over there. And can I also premise that I'm either pescatarian or vegan when we travel, because most things are not halal. I can go through every country and tell you what my favorite meal was.
Go ahead. I know what your favorite meal in Madagascar was. Rice. That's it. Just the rice. Okay, but tell us, from Abu Dhabi, all 10 places, which was your favorite food?
Abu Dhabi. The favorite food experience I had was that buffet that we had at the Hilton. And then also that meal we had at the One. I don't know it, but amazing.
My favorite.
In Madagascar, I basically only ate rice, but the rice is good. But still a favorite was like the pan au chocolat in the morning. And Coke was my lifesaver. So very basic, as you can see. Then we went to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan's favorite meal is interesting because your brother and I went to that Indian restaurant. It was great. Actually, all the Azerbaijani meals were banging, except the food we ate on the tour. So I didn't like
for you, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the fact that the meat was so fresh and like I can taste it still running on the field.
I didn't taste that. No, I don't believe
No. So I really liked in Azerbaijan is that butter chicken we had. The portions were amazing. The pancake we had at the Christmas market is a top tier. The burger from Al Juan, like burger box, phenomenal. There's just so many things. Like that meal we had with Kori, phenomenal. That like kebabs. The meal even we had in that like random side restaurant with that boy.
Yes, that was great as well. All the meals, I'm telling you, go to Azerbaijan for the food. You don't even have to know people, just go for the food. It is such a good food experience.
Honestly, and it's so basic. Like it's not like elaborate meals, but it was like
we know, like we make braai, we make chicken here, we have all these things, but it just tastes different. It tastes elevated. It tastes Azerbaijani. Like it doesn't taste South African. It just tastes good.
So good.
So good.
By the way, I'll just say the new Siriana opened. So they closed their other branch and now they opened a new branch. And we should definitely go because that same Sea Point, because they have that same shawarma experience that I've experienced in Azerbaijan. So
let's go next week.
We have Korean for lunch and we have Syrian for supper.
Next week.
That's fine. Let's go. Okay. So yeah, that's in Azerbaijan. And after Azerbaijan, we went to Tanzania. And Mama's food was great. But also that chicken we had in Dar es Salaam that one night.
I have vivid dreams of us eating there and just being like, this is the best meal I've ever had in my life. And we don't even know where that place is, but that was such good chicken. Yo, bruh. So good.
But also it was nice because we didn't have meat for like a week.
No, yes, that's true, but I think it was genuinely really delicious. Genuinely so flavorful. It was good food.
And the restaurant was full, which shows you.
And people were driving and like stopping in front of the restaurant and picking up food and ordering food. Like it was a constant in and out of people. Like you had to wait for people to get up so you could sit down and eat. So, it's a good restaurant. And it wasn't that expensive either.
No, so that was phenomenal. Love that. And then after that, we went to Mozambique. We didn't eat much in Mozambique because our food was always delayed in Mozambique. But that's whole other story.
I don't remember any of the
meals. But the coconut, I didn't realize how much I like coconut until Mozambique. Like we had bags of coconut and I would snack on it. It's phenomenal. It's great. 100%.
Mozambique. You know what I enjoyed in Mozambique was that one night when we went to a restaurant.
You see, now for me, that was nice because
that was good food. I don't even remember what I had, but I remember being like, "Oh, this is good fish." Did I have fish?
We all had fish.
I was like, "This is good food," but I didn't remember any of the meals we had on the mission, which is strange. But anyway,
there were so few and far in between. That's why I'm just saying. Yeah.
I do remember the one meal that we had while we were sitting outside the hospital. That meal was really good. I don't know what I was eating, but I can remember sitting outside on that bench in the hostel with my bucket of food on my lap and like eating with a spoon and trying to eat as quickly as I could because the bus or something was coming or we had to go somewhere.
Yeah. And then we went to where was that now? In Mozambique. After Mozambique, where's Amsterdam? Mm-hmm. Amsterdam was a fish burger. That fish burger was so liquor. Also the breakfast buffet, amazing, phenomenal. Rotterdam was that food in that hall. And then
you also like the fish in the food hall in Rotterdam.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fish in the food hall was phenomenal. The chicken not so much. The fish was like liquor. And then we only had one meal in Belgium, and I was at the house. Ooh, do you know what was really good? Was those small pink desserts that we ate at Ariel's grandfather's. Those are amazing. And then for Paris, it's gonna be the Turkish food again.
Yes, the Turkish food was good. I think we like Middle Eastern, Arabic. We like
vibes.
vibes. We like food like that a lot.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, if I'm not eating like Middle Eastern food in Europe, then I'm eating a margarita pizza.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
True. There's not
I
lots
like,
of options for you.
so that for me is like,
One
whatever.
night, we had shawarmas that night we went out in Paris.
When?
Remember the first night we went out in Paris, we were too nervous to go into the bar, so we went to the side store for food.
That was liquor.
Good food as well. And then we were like, okay, we're ready. We've mustered up the courage. And I couldn't, he gave us so much food as well. I couldn't even finish everything because we had eaten and let's quickly pop in here for just something. And there was like lots of food. So
yeah, we couldn't finish it. And we were under TV and there was just so much languages going on around us. It was a very overwhelming experience.
Yeah, but it was nice because you spoke French to him, but then he recognized that like you were Muslim as well and
so there's like
other languages. So it was so cool.
It was like, and then it was like, oh no, shukran, shukriya. And then it was English, and I was just like, wow. And then it was like,
awesome experience.
It was wild, being what's the word for someone that knows a lot of language? Not multilingual.
Is it a polyglot?
A polyglot.
Yes, that's someone who knows like 5 languages or more, something like that, I think.
One day I'll be fluent in most, inshallah. We can only hope. But yeah, so that was my food experience, talking over my snack. What a segue. And we also wanted to know, like, we've gotten a few requests about like how we plan a trip and how we do that. So maybe we can like structure it further on as we go along in the conversation. But I just want to ask you also, did you see anything phenomenal on the internet? Being in this international family that we are in.
I did see something phenomenal on the interwebs this past week. Actually, today I saw it. Everyone was reposting it on Facebook, and then someone posted on their WhatsApp stories. I was like, okay, maybe I need to, because when you see a lot of people have posted something or repost or shared something on Facebook, I tend to just ignore it. I'm like, there's too many people who have the same ideas. But then when I see it on a different like website, I'm like, okay, well, if I see it like on a different day, I'm like, okay, now everyone has seen it, so now I can see it, But it said, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Obesity is hard, being fit is hard, choose your hard. Being in debt is hard, being financially disciplined is hard, choose your hard. Communication is hard, not communicating is hard, choose your hard. Life will never be easy, it will always be hard, but we can choose our hard, pick wisely. Before I say why I like that, when you repeat the same word over and over again, and then by the end you're like, it doesn't even make sense. Like hard, I think they should have used a different.
They should also use the word hard, like a rock is hard. It's difficult.
They should use it difficult. That's why, like, as I was reading now, I was like, ugh. My English brain was like, no. But what I enjoyed about that is that growing up, we're always taught that like life is easy, or life will get easy, or or we tell ourselves that, oh, if I just get over this hurdle, everything will be better, everything will be easier. And we also don't realize that if we want certain things in life, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take time, money, energy. And it's not just because someone else has what you want, doesn't mean that life is easy or better. Which reminds me of Sugar from BTS. He has like his own like solo career as well, and he's called August D, and he has a song called People. And in the song, because he's a rapper, he raps about how people look into their lives as like these celebrities, famous people, and they're like, oh, I wish I had that, like, I wish I could sing on stages and be famous and have people like love me. But then he looks at other people who have normal lives and he's like, I wish I could just walk outside, I wish I could just go grocery shopping. And so we always think someone else's life is easier, but it's not true. Life is difficult, life is hard, and so forth. And then there was another thing that I wanted to read also this one is from Twitter, but I saw it everywhere on Facebook again. It said, at 25, I'm the woman my 15-year-old self would have loved to be in the company of. The same woman my 20-year-old self felt intimidated by, and the very woman my 23-year-old self nearly gave up on, thinking she was too far-fetched to reach. Growth is a strange and wondrous journey.
Yeah, I know you shared that with me. It was quite cool because the longer you look at that post or like reminisce, you're like, wow,
I know,
wow.
right? Because,
Are we?
sorry, because I know you said like a couple of years ago, like you never thought that you would even make it to this age. You know,
Yeah.
and not necessarily just in a morbid way per se,
No,
but just
but like a lot.
yes, I know some people in life know like by the time I'm 30, this is what I want my life to look like. But I've never been that type of person to be like in 5 years' time, this is what I want to be like. So every time I reach a new age, because you also said I like growing up, you know, I like aging. I like my birthday. I like being like, oh, I'm turning 26 next year. That excites me because I haven't thought about that age and being that person in that age. And so it's every time I turn a new age, I'm like, oh, like I get to, there's nothing, I'm not like,
unlocking a level of this game.
Yes, exactly. There's no expectation of by 27 I need to be married. So now I'm unlocking 27 and I'm like, oh, still single. You know, it's like, oh, 27, I've made it. I'm alive. You know, this is exciting. And then, yeah, but sorry, as you were saying, sorry, I interrupted you.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. But you said the more you looked at it, the more it got you thinking.
Yeah, it got you thinking because, like, realistically, I've been on the earth, like, we've been on this earth for a very short amount of time. But at the same time, how much have we achieved in this time? Which is a lot. And then also, like, I've gotten over, because, you know, we're, like, very opposite in terms of, like, you don't plan. I'm a planner. I have a 10-year plan. I want to get somewhere. But, like, that plan was always based off society's timeline and not my own. So I'm like, okay, by the age of 27, I would like to be married. I'm 27 in like 4 months. That's not happening, you know?
Wait, real?
No. So I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sorry, it just sinked in. Sorry, I wasn't trying to make a joke, and literally I was like, okay. Continue.
Yeah, like, but like the thing is, like, I have a job, like I have a stable job. I'm happy, like what I'm doing. Oh, that was phenomenal. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, like I don't have I'm not in like, okay, I'm in debt, but I'm not in like super debt. Like I'm working towards goals slowly, and these big life things were always like very, very daunting. And I must just put out to the world, like, you are obsessed with TikTok now, you're welcome. So you're obsessed with TikTok, and like I've seen so many cool things on the internet in the last week, about also like life stuff and cool things. So like one thing I want to mention is few things I want to mention is that like I'm watching the series of like equality and diversity and inclusion thing, and they mention a lot of stuff that I think we should be cognizant of, and I might share that at a later date when I'm like processed everything. But I don't know why I mentioned that. Oh, because yeah, they're teaching us a lot of stuff, but like I know half the stuff because we've done a lot. Like I've been through these courses, I have the qualifications, like I've done this, and for other people it's new information. And I'm not saying I know everything, because I definitely don't, and I am still teachable. That's why I'm still watching this and like grappling with the content. But like we know the stuff, and I'm 26. Do you know what I mean? And there's like 50-year-olds that are still like, what? It's like, what does my body represent? Like, why do some people look more trustworthy than other people, even though it might not be? It's just like not be like in their character. But we trust certain bodies because of what they represent, and why do we do that? So that's cool. I love that. And also, kind of alongside this, but also not alongside this, what I saw on TikTok this week, well, a few things. But one of the cool things is like about epigenetics. So like epi, which means like on your genes, like it's now embedded into your genes, is that for the longest time, people have been saying like, we are ancestors' wildest dreams, or we have inherited intergenerational trauma, and like things like that. Like we are still working through other people's trauma that has been passed down. And everyone's like, oh no, that's just like a saying, because you see like your granny was like oppressed or whatever, and now you want to be better than them. But no, it's actually worked in and woven into your genetic makeup, which I find extremely interesting. Like this one lady had like a fear of lifts. So like a fear of like enclosed metal places. Like I don't know how often you're going to get that, but like a lift. And the reason she didn't know why she has this like inherent fear of like closed metal spaces is because her great whoever was in like a train crash, and he couldn't get out because he was in the carriage. And that fear changed him so much that he passed down those genes to her, and now she has that same fear because of his experience. So like, what are we carrying like from our ancestors? And everyone's like, wow, you're so loud as a human being, Sakeenah. And I'm like, but I'm not. And it must be so different from what they assume is my very conservative family. And I'm like, you clearly have not met the women in my family, first of all. But like, we speak so much is because we're the voices that our ancestors wish they could use in that time and not get like beaten or, like thrown out to the communities for. And I find that wild and incredible because, yeah, weird, eh? Love that. So I saw that on the internet. So cool.
That, but I'm also very scared of that.
Like, what are we doing, and what trauma do we go through that we might pass on? So I'm gonna be very chilled and zen, be like, I'm sorry, generations to come. But super, super cool. Find that very interesting. Something else that I wanted to shout out. This goes up on Friday, so you kind of still fall into it. But last night and tonight, being the 20th and the 21st of October, there's currently we're passing through a time in space where we can see the debris of Halley's Comet. I've been telling all my kids about this. So there can be like, there's a lot of like meteors. It's called Orionid's meteor shower. Happens the same time every year. It's where we pass through like the revolution, like these remnants of it. And sometimes at night you can see up to like 10 shooting stars for this month, which is super cool. I'm just using the word super cool so often, I don't know why I hate it. So excuse that, please. But yeah, if you look up at night, so around like 12 o'clock when it's like super dark, then you might be able to see a shooting star. And I did see a shooting star when we were in St. Helena, and it was at the beginning of the orbit, and I didn't even know. I was none the wiser. I was just out there on the balcony having a cup of tea. You were sleeping, and I was like, oh, shooting star. Cool. Incredible. So if you...
Sorry, first finish, sorry.
That's it. So if they want to see any shooting stars, maybe go out, secluded area, no light pollution, clear conditions, no clouds, fantastic. Chill for like a half an hour, your eyes will adjust, have a cup of tea, dress warmly, and then look up. Fantastic. Date idea. Another one. I'm just giving you tips.
Are you currently dating? No, we'll answer that on another podcast.
No.
I wanted to tell you, you told me this on, I think Monday, you told me because you were super excited about the shooting stars happening this week. And then yesterday I watched, because I'm still busy watching Reply 1988. And I was watching, I think I'm on episode 17 now. Possibly, I don't know. And in 1989 or 1990, one of the two, I can't remember, the same thing happened to them. There was a period of 2 nights where there was shooting stars like happening, like every hour there was like 10 happening at a time. And 2 of the brothers like went and sat on their roof and watched it, and they had like a brotherly moment. And I was like, how is this possible that my reality, like my friend told me something in real life, is happening and reflected on a series that I'm currently watching that came out 5 years ago. It talks about 20-something odd years ago. So that was pretty cool.
That's super cool. And, I love to live my life in loops, apparently. But, fun fact, this happens every year. We're just not aware of it. What the heck? How?
I know. How do we not know?
Around the same time. So now I subscribe to NASA because I'm a nerd. So I heard about that. But when did I actually first hear about it? I have no idea, but I heard about it.
Mm.
And then I did some googly googs, and I watched a few videos about it and like where you can see it and why it happens. And that was super cool. Also, speaking about the series you watched, so you watched that and then you told me to watch another series, but like we were watching something together. We also started at the beginning of the month, but it's okay not to be okay. I finished it. So many.
It's crazy.
What?
I haven't finished it yet.
So many emotions, like what the heck, like again another series which is my reality, kind of, not really, but like a lot of like learning barriers, mental health, like you understand why people are the way they are. If you just understand, first of all, the history, but then also like just how they function. Phenomenal, amazing. Like I was like, why is this boy's trigger someone touching the back of his head? And then I realized it's like PTSD. I'm not going to give away anything, but like it's PTSD. And I thought it was just a random trigger because you got a sensory overload, but I was wrong. PTSD, phenomenal. Wow. So many plot twists and turns. And I cried. I cried at the weirdest moments. I cried in like the man, he's a man, not a boy, when the man with autism like hugged someone out of his own accord. And also when the autistic man could like then judge emotions. So like, you know, like they can't really read body language, facial expressions. And it was like, you're happy now. And I'm like, oh, this is such a breakthrough. It was so sad. Yeah, but I didn't cry to like obviously sad things that kind of happened in the movie. So you should definitely finish it. My mom and I watched it. We didn't actually debrief about it, but we should. It was great.
I'm so glad you enjoyed It's Okay Not to Be Okay.
Yeah, amazing. I love do you know what the thing is, Like, I love a Netflix original. Like,
they're really good.
Never have I ever.
Not the movies. Sometimes
I love it original. Give me that cheesy.
I can't stand cheesy. I can't stand it. Oh, I don't want to waste my time watching cheesy. I don't want, and I don't like watching bad acting. I can't stand it. Like, you got paid to act this badly in a Netflix original. I can't do it.
I love it cheesy because like movies are like, my brain is basically off and I'm just staring at a screen right now. I love that. I need that. You know, like To All the Boys, really bad acting.
I like that. But I didn't watch Booth.
The worst.
The worst.
Horrendous, but did I watch both? Yes, I did. Because I love a background movie. Like, I don't want to be so, like, involved in the situation.
I like a background podcast or background like YouTube video. Like I actually realized like I enjoy having people talk around me when I'm busy doing something, because
but that's like the work environment.
Yes, like I enjoy, and my house, it's very quiet here because my brother has his earphones in and he's doing his own thing. All I can hear is Rufus like the whole time, every time he wants attention. And when I'm like downstairs washing dishes, something, I just like having people with me, you know, chat. Like people must talk around me. So I like to play either a podcast in the background, even if it's one that I've already heard, just to hear people talking about something. I'm okay with that. And then I'm really enjoying Korean rap at the moment. Like I'm really loving Korean rap at the moment. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, it feels comforting having people talk around me while I'm washing the dishes.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we encourage you all to use us as that podcast. We will keep you company.
The thing is, I'm part of the podcast, and then I edit the podcast, and then I have to listen to it again before I upload it. Then when it comes out, I listen to it again. So by the time it's like a week later, I can't listen again. Like, I've heard of us enough.
Definitely better podcasts out there, but like we're your best friends, so that's why you still listen to us.
Exactly.
Like I will listen to our podcast. Luckily, I just do it, and I forget what I said like 5 seconds ago. And then you do all the post-production, and then I play it like on my way to school, on a long drive, whatever, and then I'm like, cool, because I watch everything in 2 times speed in any case.
Yeah, which
so
is great.
it goes faster.
I just realized something today because I was at work and there was like I took like a 20-minute lull break where there was like nothing happening. And so I went to my Netflix because I was like, oh, 20-minute break, like let's watch something. Did you know that you can watch Netflix shows in 2.2 speed, like in a faster speed?
No, you can't. I've
Yes,
tried
you
that.
can. No.
Only.
On your phone you can. I haven't tried on the thing, but do you know how excited I was today when I was able to? Because you know in Korean dramas, because I only watch Korean dramas, there's so many like unnecessary gaps where I don't need
and stares.
Yes, and they stare, and I'm like, skip 10 seconds, you know, and that's why the shows are so long because they stare into the distance, and they like this whole scene is just them looking at each other. I can't do it. So now I realize I discovered today that I can watch my Netflix shows on a faster speed, but now I just need to train my brain to read and the reading is fine. The reading is fine, but I need to train because I like listening to them still speak in Korean. Well, it's like I don't like watching it in silence. So my brain needs to learn. My brain needs to like connect that the Korean is like super fast and that I'm reading it instead of like English that's super fast. Because when I watch YouTube, it's English that is like on a 2x2 speed or 1.5 speed. And I understand English. And even though I might be reading, it's still everything's English. But now it's like I'm hearing Korean in 1.5 speed, but I'm reading English and I'm understanding English. My brain is about to be... I can't wait. I'm sorry. It was like the best thing I discovered today.
I can't read that fast. Are you mad? Like insane? But I'll definitely watch shows that quickly. Like there's so much shows I want to start again.
I want to start a series with my brother. We just need to find a time.
Like background Gilmore Girls I want to watch again.
Yes, but in the background.
Yeah, like background. I'm busy doing my diamond painting. And enjoy that. You know, the other day, this diamond painting honestly is phenomenal because I explained myself to my colleague today, and I never understood why I'm so inclined. I can't do motions or gestures. It's a podcast. Why I'm so inclined to this diamond painting is because I love a paint by number. I love to try to be creative, but I need rules. Don't just say you can do anything, because I'm going to end up like horrible. So they're literally telling me, put number 1 by number 1. Oh, you made picture. Amazing. You know? Yeah. So like with makeup, there's still kind of rules. You know, I'm not going to put foundation only on my nose. Like it's still a paint by number. If you do certain things. And that's why I enjoy it. I enjoy that a lot. So Halloween is coming up by the time the next podcast comes up. Do you have any plans?
No.
For Halloween?
No.
Apparently, every year there's a Halloween party in Plumstead. So there's trick-or-treaters. But I also changed my profile picture. And it's me being Bambi.
Yes.
And my colleague was like, who did your makeup? I'm like, I did my makeup. And they're like, you're so good. And I was like, this is amateur.
That was a great party. It was his birthday yesterday.
I know. That's how the memories came up because on Facebook. So I was like, I did my makeup. And they're like, I can't wait to see what you did for Halloween. So now, no pressure. What?
Is it school on that day?
Probably, but I'm going to go makeup. What day is it? The 31st? It's
not a school day, I don't think. It's a Saturday.
I'm going to go on the Friday in a face. And be like, happy Halloween! So I'm gonna do that, and I don't know what to do because now I feel like it's pressure, and I'm just like so scared. I haven't worn makeup in, I kid you not, 2 months.
Sure. Like
proper sit down makeup. No, not even 2 months, since July. It's now October. The last time I put on makeup, you know, the last time I put on makeup, it was like when I was doing those monochrome Mondays.
Oh, yes.
That was July.
That's great.
I can do some I'm so excited. So that's exciting. A headshot, like a professional headshot. So maybe I must try to do like a normal, semi-professional, whatever that is, face, and then take a photo. So I can talk forever. So I don't know if you want to wrap it up.
I think we should wrap it up. But you did mention before we went into the interwebs that we will be talking from next week. Should we do like one? We'll do like one travel question a week.
Yeah, that's fine.
So this week was our favorite food. Next week,
how we budget.
Oh yeah, that'll be something that we actually have to think about and plan for. And yeah.
No, we just say YOLO. We just spend money.
If only. No, guys, we are very serious. We are very serious, but we'll talk about that next week. We're very serious budgeters, and on holidays, we're very serious about money as well.
So, as you saw, we got very chatty. I was very excited this podcast, and I hope you enjoyed your stay with us. And I hope you found out a little bit more about us. And as always, you're welcome to join the family, the friendship circle, and make it bigger by subscribing down below. That'd be great. Also, if you have any requests, please let us know down below about what you want us to talk about specifically in following podcasts come. It's quite exciting because now we can actually kind of live in the moment instead of just reminiscing about the past. And yeah, so we are excited for the journey ahead. We hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and we'll see you next one. Bye.
Bye.